I've always been able to juggle. This pushed my systems into overdrive to a level that was like, wow. And then when I actually started to look at the patterns of the organization, the people that were suddenly falling ill were the black women. The people that were suddenly, the healthiest, were paying extra to do massage and float and this and that. That was literally not well-being. That was keep ourselves alive.
Mm.
At what cost? Because that's half our salaries we're spending to even do that, and it's just, yeah, so much of it was traits that I could see I had built coping mechanisms for myself that appeared to people as high functioning, which I think is just high masking to the detriment of our bodies.
Yeah.
But it became so unsustainable because I was also given no grace and no space to have variance and be a fallible human with, a womb and periods, number one, because our hormones doing madness also.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't the space I was given. And that really made me make a hard decision. And actually, I ended up quitting that job before the school even opened in 2025.
Wow.
So, yeah.
But in a sense, I know you protected yourself because it got to
Had
that
to.
point where you had to.
Had to.
And that's the unfortunate thing when it comes to us as black women or black bodies, and then on top of that being disabled and having ADHD and mental health, that you no longer have the choice, because it's either this will consume me and make me worse, or I stay, or I go and think about surviving or staying alive, And what happens is, as well, what is also interesting, as you said, that those feelings sort of stay and stick with you onto, say, the next project or the next thing that you then go on to do, because like you said, you're hypervigilant, you're looking out for, okay, how is this organization run? How do they do things here? I hope it's not something where I'm going to have to deal with what I had to deal with before. And it's so crazy because, like, yeah, thinking about the pattern stuff is just kind of like, I'm kind of like, now going forward and places I've been, I'm very much kind of like, oh, I give very little away. I think I was 4 months in to my part-time job and I didn't tell them what my nickname was, and they called me Juliana, and I must have said it on accident. I said, "Oh, Jules," and they were like, and my manager was like, "Oh, is that what you go by?" I was like, "Oh crap." I was like, "Yeah," because I think also as well, because I have gotten to a place where, once there's familiarity, there feels like there's a sense of kind of like, oh yeah, Juliana's, or she's accepting, or we're welcoming into her space, but then also you find yourself having to do more work because now you're even more seen, because, oh, you've given them a little bit about yourself. It's like, oh yeah, we know that about you now. And so, oh yeah, you're going to come to this, or you're going to come to that, and you're going to do this, or you're going to do that. Whilst that feels great, and I know that that is not good for me, in the sense that being in a space where I have to work for 8 hours and then to then go and then socialize, I know that's just not my thing. I just know I'm not at that space.
ADHD Babes, the podcast, every 2 weeks on Wednesdays.